Coming up, the United Nations ambassador of Ukraine visited the Dole Center Tuesday. We hear what he had to say about the state of his country.
Still alive. More than 80% of territory of Ukraine is now occupied.
And we'll take a look at an update on the plans for Phase 2 on the construction of Booth Stadium.
Later, the University of Kansas and Haskell University just renewed their 12-year partnership. We take a look at what opportunities this could bring students from both campuses.
Live from the studio in Stauffer Flint at the University of Kansas, you're watching KUJH News.
Hello and welcome to KUJH. I'm Carol Lyons.
And I'm Emily Sutter. We begin with an update on the renovation of David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium. KU Chancellor Doug Girod told the Lawrence Journal-World that KU football will not play another season outside of Memorial Stadium, even if the second phase of the Gateway District is in progress. With Phase 1 underway, the Jayhawks have been playing at GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium and at Children's Mercy Park. While the university is still set on having Phase 1 of the project done by next August, KU is having to reconsider the timing and cost of construction on Phase 2, the East Side renovations. Last month, at a ceremony marking the raising of the final beam on Phase 1, KU Athletic Director Travis Goff had this to say about the timing of the stadium project.
We know what's going to be in just over 10 months of August 23rd. When we open up with Fresno State in the new David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium. But even that's an unfinished product, an unfinished project.
We'll have more on this update for you later.
The UN's ambassador to the Ukraine visited the University of Kansas this week at the Dole Institute. KUJH's Kelly Rowe has more.
At the Robert J. Dole Institute of Politics, the University of Kansas welcomed Sergei Kaslitsia, the UN's Ukrainian ambassador. A large crowd gathered at the Institute to listen to the ambassador speak.
We are still alive. More than 80% of territory of Ukraine is now occupied. The government of Ukraine is fully functional. The banking system of Ukraine is fully functional.
Mr. Kaslitsia spoke about a variety of topics, but his main focuses were on the UN, the war in the Ukraine, and the importance of the help from the United States.
But I don't see really the United Nations or any global organization without the meaningful and powerful engagement of the United States.
He continued by saying the economy in the Ukraine is growing, but he believes the Russian economy will collapse after the war.
And that's basically one of many reasons why Putin is so clinging on waging this war. Because the end of the war will mean not only his political end, but also the economic collapse of the Russian economy.
Kaslitsa completed his speech with an ovation from the crowd, and the moderator of the event and KU professor Eric Scott highlighted the importance of the ambassador coming to KU.
Ukraine is in wartime right now, and we're also at a moment of political uncertainty with the election and lots of discussion and debate about what U.S. policy will be toward Ukraine and how it might change. So I think it was a really important time to come together as a community and discuss these issues with the representative from Ukraine who could present his country's perspective. So the country is not viewed as simply a square on a chessboard, but as a real place with real people.
For KUJH News, I'm Kelly Rowe.
Thanks, Kelly. We can be sure that many people will be closely following the ongoing war in Ukraine and whether a new administration means a new direction in U.S. support for Ukraine.
Thanks, Kara. The Gateway District's Phase 1 at Kansas's Memorial Stadium is looking to be finished in August, but the cost of Phase 2 of the project is up in the air, especially if construction starts immediately after Phase 1's finish. The original Phase 1 estimate started at $300 million, according to KUSports.com. Now that estimate is at $450 million, and that total excludes Phase 2. We have coverage right outside of Memorial Stadium right now with our own Lauren Ritchie. Lauren, what is the morale looking like right now in lieu of these announcements?
Chancellor Girod and Travis Goff are still very enthusiastic about this project, even though they are aware of challenges in construction. Despite this, they claim fundraising is doing well. Though additional funds will Phase 2, KU has raised over $200 million of their $250 million Phase 1 goal through grants and fundraising. The university is looking to have a public-private partnership for funding phase 2. KU is also looking to put a hotel and other amenities on the east side of the stadium, which will alter the placement of the grandstand.
Thanks, Lauren. Has the outlook from the university always been this positive?
Stadium construction started, Gerard wasn't so sure about the idea of a hotel. According to KUSports.com, Gerard expressed his concerns about placing a hotel in the stadium, saying, quote, with some of the proposals we received, they wanted us to take all the risks, and I'm not really interested. If we don't do hotels, it is not what we're good at. Despite the unfavorable outlook from development proposals, Gerard and KU maintained that a hotel will be included in phase 2's development. The timeline is just not solidified yet.
Thanks. Lauren Ritchie's outside of Memorial Stadium. Thanks for joining us, Lauren. Though it's still unsure when the phase 2 construction will start and where the fundraising will come from, the news that the renovations will be done next season is a positive thing to look forward for fans.
One local organization is taking charge in the fight against hunger. KUJH's Cameron McRory visited Just Food to learn how they're bridging the gap in food insecurity.
Welcome to Just Food, a mission to end hunger in Douglas County.
Everyone deserves access to food, no questions asked.
No questions asked, no matter your situation.
Folks come into our pantry, there's no barrier to entry, so the only thing that we really request is if they have an address. If they are unhoused and don't have an address, of course, we're still going to send them with food.
Just Food is the only combined food bank and food pantry in Douglas County, meaning they provide food to 32 local partners like businesses and schools, and to community members in need directly at their distribution center.
People come in, they grab a shopping cart and get a certain number of points depending on how many folks are in their household, and shop throughout our shelves.
This food comes from a few places: their local garden, food purchases, and food donations, which are crucial in building their supply. In the fight against hunger, even one canned good can make a difference. So go through your kitchen. If there's any food you seem to not be eating, you know where to bring it.
They can be dropped off here at Just Food, or we have barrels at most of the major grocery stores.
These donations are especially important in the next few months as the community needs skyrockets during the holidays.
We have over 1,500 folks signed up to receive a Thanksgiving box from us, and the same kind of setup for a winter holiday distribution, and we're anticipating over 1,500 folks for that as well.
For KUJH News, I'm Cameron McCrory.
If you'd like to donate food, you can drop it off directly at Just Food's building. Or if you shop at Checkers or Dillon's, look for Just Food branded items at checkout that get sent to their shelves upon purchase.
Sam is here with an update on the weather. Sam?
Thank you, Emily. It was another cool fall morning today, and well, these are going to continue on because, well, fall is here. Summer is over. I like that myself. Here in Lawrence right now, we are sitting at 53 degrees, wind chill of 48, humidity at 55%, and wind is light out of the west at 6 miles an hour. These types of conditions will continue on through the afternoon. The wind will remain light out of the west throughout the day. Temperatures will top out around 60 degrees at 3 p.m. with the sunshine continuing on through the afternoon as well. Now, coming up in a few minutes, I will talk about the cooler temperatures and rain chances that we have upcoming. I'll discuss our first chance for snow that will come to the middle and to later parts of next week, and also talk about a chance for more tropical activity, all coming up in a little bit. Emily?
Coming up, one beloved local bookstore is undergoing an ownership change.
And see how one beekeeper is handling his honey losses and preparing for the spring after the break.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Welcome back to KUJH. The University of Kansas and Haskell Indian Nations University have renewed their 12-year partnership with the goal of increasing opportunities on both campuses. KU's Chancellor Doug Gerard and Haskell's President Frank Arpin met at the beginning of this month for a signing ceremony.
This renewal comes off the coattails of KU's new Office of Sovereign Partnerships and Indigenous Initiatives. KUJH's Francesca Onofrio joins us in studio to share more. Francesca.
Thanks, Karen. Emily. The main purpose of the office is to serve Native and Indigenous students, staff, and faculty. It's intended to help KU build and maintain relationships with Indian country and tribes across the region. Alex Redcorn, a KU alum, is central to this mission as Associate Vice Chancellor for Sovereign Partnerships and Indigenous Initiatives. Redcorn is also the Director and Associate Professor of Indigenous Studies at KU. Lori Hasselman is also instrumental in her work as Director of the newly created office. Dr. Redcorn shared more about the Memorandum of Understanding.
The way that it's built, it allows us to be more flexible to new ideas and new areas of growth that we can grow our partnership in, and establish spin-off partnerships that are more focused on unique topics or unique opportunities.
Both universities agreed on and updated the Memorandum of Understanding, both agreeing to commitments such as articulation, research programs, and services. In addition to the renewal, a permanent interinstitutional committee was created and members will be appointed by President Arpan and Chancellor Girard. The committee will meet at least once a semester to ensure both universities are cooperating and participating. For more details about the memorandum, visit sovereignpartnerships.ku.edu/MOU.
Thanks, Francesca. The Raven Bookstore, a staple in Lawrence for over 25 years, is currently in the transition of new ownership. KUJH's Jonah Kahn is here with more details.
The Raven, a staple bookstore in Lawrence since 1987, is facing 3 new owners come January 2025. Current owner Danny Kane has been running the store from out of state. This complicated things for Kane, which led to him handing over ownership at the beginning of the coming year. All 3 upcoming owners have worked at the store before Kane became the sole owner in 2013.
There was a kind of a co-op ownership. That was the previous iteration. We'd all been part of that group, and we were the 3 remaining.
As co-owners, they hope the transition will be seamless for everyone. They all think 3 is a good number to have for co-owners and hope customers don't notice any differences.
Very, very little change will be noticeable in like the actual storefront kind of stuff like that.
Combined, the 3 bring over 40 years of experience to the store. Each has their own mindset but mesh together well. Right now, they feel intimidated, but they know they can handle it. And of course, the cats will still be hanging out in the store. Now, the up-and-coming Raven Bookstore owners tell me they look forward to continuing to serve the Lawrence community. Reporting on Mastery, Jonah Kahn, KUJH News.
Thanks, Jonah. The transition between owners can be a difficult process, and we wish them all the best of luck.
As we get closer to winter, colder weather can be quite the struggle for beekeepers raising honeybees. The demand for honey increases around this time of year and also comes at a cost. KUJH's Savannah Meyer tells us how one local beekeeper navigates his losses and prepares for the spring.
According to a nationwide survey, nearly half of the honeybee colonies across the country died last year. Tim Urich with Tea Creek Bees and Honey tells us he loses at least 10% of his honeybees every fall. This time of year in Kansas, there are a couple things to consider for survivability for the bees ahead of the winter.
One, does each colony have a healthy queen? Second, is each colony relatively free, or at least have a low varroa mite count? That's a pest that predates on bees. And then third, that they're heavy enough, meaning they have enough stores of honey or sugar water to make it through the winter.
To help decrease the number of the varroa mites that prey on the bees, he uses an acid to prevent parasites like the varroa mites from killing them. The chemicals crystallize so that the mites fall off. But he says during this time, it's best to cull the weaker bees.
Losing a colony to the varroa mite or to a weak queen or to starvation represents an economic loss for every beekeeper. But I've found that when colonies are weak, it's best to cull them this time of year and combine those bees with a healthy colony.
Urich says when doing this, it will make predicting the spring harvest easier. For KUJH News, I'm Savannah Meyer.
Following the spring season and harvest, the risk of bees dying decreases, allowing us to enjoy honey during warm weather at a lower price. Sam is here to tell us about some possible rain coming up in the next week, so take it away, Sam.
Yes, thank you, Emily. It does look to be a good chance of rain starting Sunday through Monday next week. I'll break down those details for you all in just a moment. Taking a look at satellite right now, if you look off to our west, you can see the remnants of all the snow that fell in Colorado last week. Meanwhile, off to our east, there is a large system with a lot of cloud cover associated with that. But here in Lawrence, perfectly clear, and we will stay that way for the next couple of days, really. Looking at temperatures right now, we're at 54 out in Topeka, 55 down in Ottawa, 53 in Olathe, and 54 as well here locally in Lawrence. As we head into this evening, it'll be around 50, it'll be in the 50s for dinner time, and cooling off quickly into the 40s as we head to this evening at 8 to 10 p.m. The wind will remain steady out of the south, and skies will remain clear for, again, a good while longer. Overnight tonight will reach a low around 34 degrees. Again, we're getting closer and closer to having lows below freezing, but we are not quite there yet. But I expect that to change as we get to the middle and the end of next week. Now for the weekend, it'll be 67 both tomorrow and Saturday with plenty of sunshine. Then Sunday again, things start to change, especially in the PM hours, as those rain chances will start to move in. Putting the map into motion, starting Sunday night, we can see the showers approaching our area down from the southwest. They will build in mostly Monday morning through the entire day Monday, finally moving out come Tuesday morning. Be mainly light showers, but could be a couple of heavy downpours seen by the more yellows and oranges here on this map. And then, depending on how the system wraps around, we could see some light snowfall anytime from Wednesday evening into Friday or through Friday morning. Again, this all depends on if the low pressure system tracks further north or further south. If it tracks north, more likely to get rain. Tracks south, more likely to get snow. And the models right now are not conclusive on this. We'll have to wait and see. But again, could be a chance for a couple flurries and wintry mix potential for the later portions of next week. Now getting into sports a little bit, it'll be a cold game up in Provo as Jayhawks take on number 6 BYU on Saturday. With temperatures right around freezing, all the way from pregame down through the fourth quarter. It'll be by far the coldest game that KU has played in so far this year. It'll be a different story for the basketball game on Tuesday against UNC Wilmington here at Allen Fieldhouse, with temperatures at 52 pregame, then dropping into the 40s for tip-off and final buzzer. So may need a jacket if you're heading out to that event. Taking a look at our 7-day forecast, 61 for a high today, then 67 tomorrow and Saturday. Then Sunday night, the rain chances start to build in, especially all day Monday. Sadly, I expect Monday to be a washout. Have any outdoor plans? I'm sorry. Good news is, though, Tuesday looks dry. But then again, that chance for wintry mix enters the area Wednesday through Friday of next week. Emily?
Thanks, Sam. I'll be sure to pack an umbrella on my way to class. I love the rainy weather, Kara. I don't know about you, but I'm actually not a fan of sunny weather, so hearing about this rain is making me actually kind of excited. How do you feel?
Me too, yeah, but when he thought of snow, ooh, I am so excited. Gets me in the Christmas mood.
Fair enough. Rain or snow, whatever, I guess we'll take the precipitation here, you and I.
For sure we will. Next up on KUJH Sports, women's soccer has won the Big 12 championship for the second time in school history. How the Jayhawks are shaping up before the NCAA tournament begins. KU running back Devin Neal made history this weekend with his stellar performance against Iowa State. Reactions from Coach Leipold and Neal himself coming up.
Good morning and welcome back to KUJH Sports. I'm Savannah Meyer here to give you a weekly recap of all things sports. The past week has been quite eventful for Kansas athletics, leaving fans, alumni, and students proud to wear the Jayhawk. On Tuesday night, KU's men's basketball took down Michigan State 77-69 in the Champions Classic, but the game serves as a career milestone for head coach Bill Self. Self's record improved to 591 wins to 143 losses over 21 seasons as Kansas's head coach, trumping legendary head coach Phog Allen's record. When asked about what the accomplishment means to Self, he said,
"It means I'm old, and it means I've had a lot of really good players. So, no, we're proud about that. I hadn't thought about that at all, but certainly proud about it. But Phog Allen's still going to be the all-time best coach at Kansas."
Self and the Jayhawks will host Oakland University in Allen Fieldhouse on Saturday at 5 p.m. KU football is nearing the end of its season and hopes to secure wins in the next 3 games to end the season on a high note. KUJH reporter Lauren Ritchie has been at all of the games and is live outside of David Booth Memorial Stadium. Lauren, what have you seen from them over the weeks?
I've seen a lot of growth in this team, Savannah. What started as 5 consecutive losses has quickly turned around as this team still holds on to the hope of making a bowl game this year. The bowl-eligible teams must have at least 6 wins. The Jayhawks currently have 3 wins and only 3 more games left in this season, meaning Kansas must win out the remainder of its season to be bowl-eligible. This is not necessarily out of the question, as the team displayed its ability to take down ranked opponents after upsetting number 17 Iowa State last weekend. Jalen Daniels had an impressive game, scoring 295 yards touchdown. Daniels also rushed for 68 yards and ran the ball in for 1 touchdown. Our running back Devin Neal is the true star when it comes to rushing the base. Neal broke 2 records during KU's game against the Cyclones and is on track to play 4. Neal continues to be the talk of the town and even into the world of college football for the impact he has had on this Kansas football program. Savannah has more on him back at the studio. Live outside of David Booth Memorial Stadium, I'm Lauren Ritchie, KUJH Sports.
Thanks, Lauren. It's no surprise that Devin Neal is an offensive powerhouse and has made a lasting impact on Kansas football. KUJH's Michael Darcy provides insight into Neal's newly acquired records.
Senior running back Devin Neal had a historic performance in Kansas football's 45-36 win over Iowa State this past weekend. The Lawrence native rushed for 116 yards and 2 touchdowns, breaking the all-time rushing record in Kansas football history. Neal surpassed June Henley's record of 3,841 rushing yards, which had stood since 1996. Neal's historic day did not stop there. His 2 rushing touchdowns helped him break the record for the most rushing touchdowns in program history with 43. After rushing for over 100 yards, Devin Neal set a new program record with his 18th career 100-yard game, breaking the previous tie with Tony Sands for the most in Kansas history. Here's what Devin Neal had to say after his record-breaking day.
You know, it's just one of those dream come true type of moments, and, you know, I just really blessed to be on this team, you know, and it's unique just to be a part of a team for 4 straight years and grow with the guys, grow with the coaches, and, you know, so many relationships I have in that locker room, and it's just awesome, man.
Head coach Lance Leipold praised Neal after breaking the rushing record.
You know, I'm very happy for Devin and all his teammates that have been a part of this all the way through. We've talked many times about what the kind of player he's been, the kind of person he's been, how humble and how hardworking he's been throughout this.
For KUJH Sports, I'm Michael Darcy.
Looking ahead to this weekend, the Jayhawks will hit the road to Provo, Utah and face undefeated BYU. Kickoff is set for Saturday night at 9:15 p.m. in Lavelle Edwards Stadium. Make sure to tune in to ESPN for a game you won't want to miss. As we know, last week was full of wins for the Jayhawks, though the soccer victory was one for the record books. KUJH's Kara Lyons shares with us the exciting outcome of the Big 12 championship game.
Entering into the Big 12 tournament as the 6th seed, the Jayhawks fought their way to the championship game, knocking out the 3rd, 2nd, and eventually the number 1 seed in the last 3 games of the tournament. Kansas secured its 2nd ever Big 12 Conference Championship with a penalty kick to earn them the 1-0 victory over TCU and earn an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. Following the game, Lexi Watts and Sophie Daw shared what it felt like to come this far in the season and claim the Big 12 title.
I'm so happy that we just finished the game out and won. I mean, I'm so proud of all the girls on the team. We all worked hard for the whole 90 minutes, so couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah, it's surreal, like sitting in the locker room at the beginning of the season and talking about our core values and where we want to be. And we talked about making the Big 12 tournament, making it to and we just won, so it feels great.
Head coach Nate Lee is already making program history within the KU program, and it's only his first year as a Jayhawk. He looks to maintain this start to his legacy here at Kansas as the team advances to the NCAA tournament. Kansas soccer season will continue as they play against number 8 St. Louis, which acquired its 7th straight Atlantic 10 championship. The Billikens will host the Jayhawks on November 15th at 7 p.m. and will be streamed on ESPN+. A packed weekend for Kansas sports is upon us, so thanks for watching KUJH Sports to keep up with the Jayhawks. Make sure to stay tuned every Thursday morning at 11:30 a.m. for your weekly sports recap. Coming up, how early do people think is too early to start decorating for Christmas? More after the break.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back to KUJH. Sam is back again with a final update on the cyclone forming across the Caribbean. Sam?
Yes, thank you, Kara. There have been lots of rumors circulating online about a new hurricane that's going to form and impact the U.S. I wanted to break this down and say, well, probably not all entirely that true. Well, there is a tropical depression, number 19 to be specific, that is 70 miles off the east coast of Honduras, and it is forecasted to reach tropical cyclone strength today. But again, there's a very high uncertainty about its impacts. Well, taking a look at the newest map here from the National Hurricane Center, see its location right now there marked at the X as of 10 a.m. this morning, and it will form into a tropical storm and move off and cross over land. But as it crosses over the land here, it will weaken considerably down to a tropical depression probably at best. And now, even if it does survive crossing over land, there will be a cold front associated with the system that could bring us snow actually next week. That'll plummet all the way down into the Gulf. That will probably, well, weaken whatever organization is left. So I don't think it'll be any of a significant cyclone. Could bring some rain to Florida at best, but I don't expect anything major for the Gulf as we head in next week. Kara?
Thanks, Sam. Thanksgiving and Christmas are approaching, and that brings up debate on when Christmas decorations should be up. KUJH's Caleb Kalsich went to Jayhawk Boulevard to see what students' opinions are about this.
A common debate this time of year is, when should Christmas decorations go up? Should it be before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving? I went on asking a couple of KU students when they felt the correct timing of Christmas decorations should be. When should Christmas decorations go up?
November 1st. I agree, right after Halloween. Yes.
What's your reasoning for that?
Halloween's over, it's time to celebrate Christmas.
Yep, I agree, and that's when it starts to get cold.
Yes.
Definitely after Thanksgiving. You know, if you do it before, you're just taking away from the Thanksgiving spirit. And why would you want to do that? You know what I mean?
November. Yeah.
Right now, Christmas music is like my favorite music, so, and Christmas time is my favorite time of the year. I get to spend time with my friends and go home, so I think, what's the 13th? Yeah, I think today is perfect time to start putting up Christmas lights.
Oh, after Thanksgiving. See, I think to enjoy like each holiday, see, like you enjoy Halloween, you put up decorations in October for Halloween, and then right when Halloween ends, you start for Thanksgiving, and you enjoy the month of November for Thanksgiving, and then once Thanksgiving ends, then you can enjoy Christmas and put up your Christmas tree and Thanksgiving decorations after Thanksgiving. So that's how I think it should be.
Whether you're for Christmas decorations before Thanksgiving Day or if you wait till after November 28th to put decorations up, everyone in 2024 can enjoy the rest of the holidays. For KUJH News, I'm Caleb Kalsich.
Thanks, Caleb. Fun to see different perspectives about holiday decorations.
With KU men's basketball season in full swing, it raises the question if our Jayhawk fans know the history of our program. KUJH's Jackie Yampolsky hits campus to see what students know.
KU's campus is full of many die-hard Jayhawk basketball fans.
I remember back in 2012, I was cheering for us as we went up against Kentucky in the national championship game, and ever since that moment, I was hooked.
But there are others who like to rally onto the bandwagon of the historic program. How many fans truly are legitimate?
I'd say, for the most part, we have a pretty knowledgeable fan base. When it gets to like the students, I don't know so much about that.
I took matters into my own hands and saw if students could decipher the names of former Jayhawk hoopers from famous chefs.
I mean, it sounds like a crazy name for a hooper.
That sounds like a player.
Yeah, it does. I'm gonna go Hooper though.
Maddie Matheson, that's a famous chef.
No, because there's Markeith. I think it's a trick.
I'm gonna say player again. Chef?
So I'm gonna go chef.
Former KU basketball player.
I'll go chef.
Chef.
That's a former KU basketball player.
Hooper.
Player.
Former KU basketball player.
Chef.
We're gonna go Hooper then.
Chef.
That's a famous chef.
Hopefully this game gave you an icebreaker for when you run out of things to talk about at Thanksgiving dinner. Speaking of Thanksgiving, always be thankful that you're a Jayhawk and not a Mizzou Tiger. For KUJH Sports, I'm Jack Yampolsky.
Thanks, Jack.
Well, that's all we have for you this morning. Check out KUJH on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram for exclusive content and keep up to date on the latest stories at KUJHnews.com. I'm Kara Lyons.
And I'm Emily Sutter. KUJH News will be back next Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Have a great day.